Burundi, where the extraordinary is every day. The Gishora drums don't just sound, they command thunder. Sacred, centuries old, pounding for 400 plus years through kingdoms and time itself. A group jog? That once required official permission. Cows aren't livestock, they're living poetry. Wedding gifts, serenaded, treated like treasure that breathes. A nation barely whispered about in headlines, yet saturated with culture, resilience, and stories that feel like fiction. This is Burundi, wedged in East Africa's heart between Rwanda, Tanzania, and Lake Tanganyika, Earth's second deepest freshwater expanse. Everyday realities that shatter stereotypes. Ancient monarchies, sacred rituals, laws that make you pause. By the end, you'll understand why this small nation demands your attention. These are 15 mind-blowing truths about Burundi. Let's begin. Fact number 15. Burundi, the youngest nation on Earth, landlocked between Rwanda, Tanzania, and the vast Democratic Republic of the Congo, Burundi is one of Africa's smallest nations, covering just 10,700 square miles, smaller than Massachusetts, yet immense in spirit. What it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in soul, existing like a hidden island of culture surrounded by a rapidly changing world. Officially known as the Republic of Burundi, its very name reflects a deep-rooted history, the land where Hutu and Tutsi have lived together since ancient times. Tiny on the map, isolation hasn't erased identity, it has protected it, preserving ancient customs, languages, and rhythms that still echo through everyday life. And despite sitting just a few degrees from the equator, Burundi defies expectations with a surprisingly mild, almost perfect climate, thanks to its lush highlands and elevated terrain. Imagine tropical sunlight softened by a constant cool breeze, a country close to the sun yet never scorched by it. Fact number 14. Bananas are Burundi's gold. In Burundi, the banana is no ordinary fruit. It is a livelihood, a language, and a thread that stitches communities together across generations. At weddings, the celebration of a newborn, and ceremonies held to restore peace between neighbors, orwa is not simply poured, it is shared. Nearly every household tends to its own grove. Bananas are steamed until tender, mashed into hearty meals, crisped in hot oil, and, perhaps most significantly, slowly fermented into urwa, a traditional banana wine that runs through Burundian culture like a quiet river, touching almost every meaningful moment of life. A single clay vessel is placed at the center of the gathering, and every person present draws from it through their own slender bamboo straw, each one a cherished inheritance passed through family lines. To decline the offer is no small thing. It is considered a slight against the spirit of togetherness itself. Wander through the bustling markets of Gitega or Bujumbura, and the banana's dominance becomes immediately visible. Towering golden clusters are stacked high on wooden carts, balanced across wheelbarrows, or arranged with quiet care on burlap cloth, almost reverently, like offerings laid out for an important guest. Fact number 13. The women who carry a nation on their heads. It is one of the most arresting sights the country offers. Women gliding along narrow paths with towering loads of firewood, clay water vessels, or thick banana stalks balanced overhead. Hands completely free, no straps, no harness, no assistance. Just impeccable posture, an unhurried rhythm, and a skill so deeply inherited it appears almost effortless. What takes a lifetime to master looks in their hands like second nature. But look closer and you'll understand that these women are carrying far more than physical weight. They are carrying entire communities on their shoulders. In a nation where economic hardship is not an occasional visitor but a daily reality, Burundian women form the invisible architecture of survival. They cultivate the fields at dawn, raise the children, run the households, walk miles for clean water, and bring their harvest to market, threading resilience and warmth through every single task without pause or complaint. Fact number 12, the most unique DIY scooter in the world. Welcome to Burundi, where necessity meets brilliance on two wooden wheels. Introducing the Chakudu, a hand-built, gravity-defying wooden scooter that's part wheelbarrow, part scooter, and part engineering marvel. Crafted almost entirely from wood, with recycled rubber tires from old cars, the Chakudu isn't just transportation, it's a lifeline. This rugged ride can carry up to 500 pounds of cargo, bananas, sacks of charcoal, firewood, even crates of beer, down the steepest of hills. No motor, no pedals, just balance, foot brakes, and raw skill. Young men steer these wooden beasts with their bodies, zipping down hills in towns like Ngozi and Kayanza, where paved roads are few, but hustle is everywhere. Fact number 11. The forest people who dance on stilts, tucked into the mist-draped highlands bordering Kibera National Park, one of Burundi's oldest and most enduring communities, continues to call these ancient hills home, the Batwa people. Known across the region as the forest people, the Batwa have shared an intimate bond with the natural world for thousands of years. They once moved through the landscape as semi-nomadic trackers, reading the forest floor with extraordinary precision, harvesting medicinal plants with the knowledge of seasoned herbalists, and shaping the earth itself into vessels, crafting pottery entirely by hand without ever touching a wheel, in a tradition as old as the community itself. Today, many Batwa families have settled near towns such as Bukinanyana and Musigati, building new chapters of life while keeping their ancestral heritage very much alive. Knowledge travels not through written pages here, but through voice, through story, song, and movement, passed with intention from elder to child, season after season. And among the many ways the Batwa give their culture visible form, nothing commands attention quite like the stilt dance.
Fact number 10. The drums of kings. In Burundi, the beat of a drum doesn't just echo, it commands. Welcome to the world of inanga, towering wooden drums that once roared only for kings. The Burundian drum dance is one of Africa's oldest and most powerful performance traditions. But it's more than entertainment. It's a sacred ritual, a heartbeat of history, and a symbol of national identity. These drums were once played during royal coronations, military victories, and spiritual rites. Today, you'll hear them in cultural festivals across Bujumbura and in quiet hillside villages where children still learn the rhythms from elders, by ear, not sheet music. And then the moment of awe. The lead drummer climbs atop his own drum, standing tall, striking downward with two heavy sticks, like a royal conductor summoning the spirit of the ancestors. In 2014, UNESCO declared this tradition an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. In Burundi, the drum is not just an instrument, it's a throne, a voice, a pulse, and a living. Fact number 9. All you need is one cow to get married in Burundi. The path to marriage doesn't run through banks or dowries, it runs through the horns of a cow. Across rural Burundi, your wealth isn't measured in currency, it's counted in cattle. And the most prized of all, the majestic Ankole Watusi, with its towering crown-like horns that can grow over 3 feet long. These regal animals once belonged only to kings. Today, they're still revered like royalty. In Burundian tradition, giving a cow as a wedding gift is a gesture of deep respect and honor. It's often named after the bride's new home or a virtue the groom hopes to celebrate. And here's the beautiful part. Once given, that cow is never slaughtered. It's raised like family, remembered, even spoken to. Cows live close, sometimes tied beside the house or guided out daily like companions. Their dung is used to fertilize crops or build traditional homes. Their image appears in art, in carved drums, even in spiritual. Fact number 8. The curious case of salt in Burundi. How do you harvest salt in a landlocked country with no ocean? In Burundi, the answer lies not in the sea, but in the soil itself. In regions like Rusay and the Mawaro Highlands, locals practice an ancient and delicate craft, extracting salt from naturally salty earth and hot springs.
No factories, no machinery, just age-old knowledge passed from generation to generation. The process is a ritual of patience. Salty soil is soaked, filtered, then slowly boiled down in clay pots until glistening salt crystals form, like treasure rising from the land. But in Burundi, salt isn't just for flavor, it's woven into culture. Every May, some rural communities celebrate what's called a salt wedding. It's a traditional engagement ceremony where banana wine and salt cakes are given as dowry gifts. And here's the fascinating twist. If the bride tastes just a pinch of salt during the event, it's her silent and graceful way of saying yes. In Burundi, salt does far more than seasoned food. It flavors identity, tradition, and love. Fact number 7. Important notes when visiting Burundi. Traveling through Burundi offers more than just beautiful landscapes. It offers deep, unscripted human connection. But here's something you'll quickly notice. In Burundi, asking isn't begging. It's a culturally rooted gesture, an instinctive form of interaction shaped by decades of economic hardship and shared resilience. At local markets, children may come up to you asking for candy. At roadside stops near Lake Tanganyika, a stranger might offer directions or even walk with you, unprompted, just to help. And what's truly surprising, street kids in cities like Bujumbura often speak 3 or 4 languages: French, Swahili, Kirundi, and sometimes English or German. Many visitors say they've happily shared snacks or coins, not out of guilt, but out of sheer admiration for a child who just greeted them in perfect multilingual charm. Still, a few tips go a long way. Carry small change and learn to say "Oya."
Fact number 6. The strange jogging rule found only in Burundi. In most countries, jogging in a group is a normal, even wholesome way to start the day. But in Burundi, this simple act, running with friends, requires government permission. Why? The answer lies in a moment of national trauma. After the political unrest of 2015, when massive protests erupted in the capital and spiraled into violence, the government began viewing all group activities with suspicion, even casual ones. Group jogging, once a popular weekend ritual for teens and athletes, was suddenly seen as a possible front for organizing dissent. So new rules were introduced. No jogging in groups unless pre-approved by local authorities. To outsiders, it might sound extreme, but in Burundi, where the memory of unrest still lingers, public gatherings, even informal ones, are closely watched. While these laws have relaxed in recent years, they've never been officially repealed. Today, you'll still see solo joggers along the shores of Lake Tanganyika, gliding past the morning mist with earbuds in and heads down, running freely, but cautiously.
Fact number 5. The country with 2 capitals. Burundi isn't just rich in culture. It's a country with 2 capitals that feel like 2 different worlds. There's Bujumbura, the largest city and former capital, a vibrant urban sprawl resting along the shores of Lake Tanganyika. And then there's Gitega, the quieter, more ceremonial administrative capital, tucked deeper inland. In Bujumbura, mornings begin with the hum of minibus engines, the scent of roasted coffee wafting from street stalls, and vendors shouting over the buzz at Central Market. Lakeside, locals pedal past stalls selling cassava cakes, grilled tilapia, and bottles of homemade banana beer. By afternoon, young people gather in Rusizi National Park, where, believe it or not, you can sometimes spot hippos and crocodiles in the distance. But to locals, that's just another day at the park. Gitega, on the other hand, moves to a slower, more ceremonial rhythm. It's home to the National Museum, where royal drums, spears, and regal garments from Burundi's ancient kingdoms are carefully preserved. It feels more like the heart of tradition, where history isn't just studied, it's felt. In Burundi, every city is a story, and in the case of Bujumbura and Gitega, those stories are 2 chapters of the same soul.
Fact number 4. The land of unnamed wonders. Burundi may be small, but it's filled with natural wonders so majestic, most of them don't even have tour names yet.
Stretching along the country's western edge is Lake Tanganyika, a deep blue giant that holds several global records. It's believed to be the oldest and deepest freshwater lake in the world, plunging more than 4,800 feet into the earth and sitting over 2,500 feet above sea level. Imagine Lake Tahoe, but warmer, wilder, and fringed with palm trees and monkeys swinging from the canopy above. But here's what truly stuns visitors. The source of the Nile River isn't in Egypt or Uganda. It actually begins in Burundi. At Mount Gakezi, a modest ravine marks the start of the mighty river. There's even a faded sign reading Source du Nil, where the quiet Ruvironza stream begins its astonishing 4,100-mile journey north. Keep exploring and you'll find Carrera Falls, a shimmering series of waterfalls hidden in the forest, often called one of Africa's most beautiful, least-known gems. Fact number 3, the Secret State Festival. In Burundi, tradition isn't just remembered, it's lived, danced, and sung every season. It begins beneath the ancestral tree, where elders and villagers form a giant circle. Between February and March, before a single bean touches the soil, entire villages gather for the Umuganuro rain ceremony, a mystical dance of hope and harmony. Dancers in banana leaf skirts twirl to the rhythm of hand drums, cooled by the highland breeze. Legend says after 3 full spins, clouds begin to gather, and the first rains of the season begin to fall. Leading the ritual is always someone over the age of 70, a living bridge between past and present. And in a beautiful display of unity, everyone, from farmers to mayors, scoops the first spoon of rice together, reaffirming that in Burundi, community comes before everything. From July to August, that rain becomes harvest, and Umuganuro transforms into a full-blown celebration of abundance. Village squares turn into outdoor kitchens, fresh rice steams in clay pots, while the smell of roasted corn fills the air. Drums thunder at 100 beats per second, vibrating through your chest like an open-air rock concert. Fact number 2, cost of living in Burundi, a budget-friendly secret for American travelers. If you've ever dreamed of downsizing your life without sacrificing comfort, Burundi might just be your best-kept secret. In Gitega or Bujumbura, you can rent a fully furnished one-bedroom apartment for as little as $180 to $300 per month, depending on the location and amenities. The cost of living here is 60 to 70% lower than in the United States, and about 40% less than in most European countries. A local meal at a street-side eatery? Just $2 to $4. Utilities, electricity, water, trash pickup, and even fiber optic internet can total just $40 to $60 a month. If you cook at home, $25 a week will cover plenty of fresh fish, green bananas, beans, and seasonal vegetables. Prefer something Western style? You're still looking at only $8 to $12. Even a gym membership in the city center runs only $25 to $35 per month, and a basic dental checkup might cost just $15 to $25. Getting around? Hop on a moto taxi for just 50 cents per ride, or hire a private car with a driver for $20 to $30 a day. If you could live here, would you? Drop a 1 in the comments for yes and a 0 for no, and tell us why. Fact number 1. Must-try dishes in Burundi, a taste of the unexpected. Let's end our journey with the flavors that fuel the soul of Burundi. Next, try ibiharage na ubugali, soft black beans simmered in palm oil and served with ubugali, a cornmeal dough ball. First up, muke, a local fish found only in Lake Tanganyika, often called the salmon of East Africa. Firm, slightly fatty, and rich in flavor, it's usually grilled whole over charcoal and served with boiled green bananas and a sprinkle of local pink salt. If grilled salmon with greens is your go-to in the US, this is Burundi's power combo. You eat it with your hands, dipping the soft dough into the rich, flavorful stew. Think mashed potatoes and gravy if mashed potatoes were hand-scooped and stewed with soul. For something more festive, there's isombe, a celebratory dish made of mashed cassava leaves, simmered in coconut milk with garlic and onions. It's both earthy and tropical, a surprising delight for the palate.